Hey everyone, it's Types, and in this video, I'm going to be looking at Little Dark Fury's tier list, actually the template here, because I saw his video. I didn't actually complete it, but yeah, I saw what he was doing, and I think there were some mistakes that he had on the list, and some just things that were a bit weird. So I want to show my own take on the tier list. Also, sorry, I'm a bit sick right now. I'm recovering. I should be better, but who knows? It's allergy season, so no idea what's gonna happen. But first of all, what's going on with these like tiers here? I don't exactly know. Like S, but then one. Like if you do S, then it's A, then B, and then C, and then you probably have F tier. So I don't know why it's like D and S are right, but then it's 1, 2, 3. It's kind of strange. I'm just gonna fix this real quick here. I think this was like a second channel video, but I don't know why you'd change the tiers to make them make less sense. Anyways, I'm going to start off with, I guess I'll go with the Miraidon next here. And I think this is Flaffy Miraidon, and this is Miraidon with Regieleki, and this is Miraidon with Flying Pikachu. I don't actually like know much about Flying Pikachu Miraidon. I've never like played it or played against it. But this regular Miraidon build is a solid A tier deck. It's not the best deck in the game right now, but it has potential. I think, in my opinion, the best deck is Lost Zone. We're going to talk about that, obviously. And Miraidon has like it's just a solid deck because you can do ability lock, but also you can hit solid damage output, reduce damage, just hit and run, that type of thing. And it's like has enough versatility and enough power to be able to compete with the best decks in the game. Flying Pikachu, I guess, is B tier. I don't know anyone who plays this. I personally think the Klefki plus Regielekis are better than Flying Pikachu. Your Glossum Box is probably matches a lot, possibly a little worse, but I think the Regielekis are really good, especially in just general matchups. I think they're just amazing. And Flaffy, I mean, I don't know how you'd play Flaffy. It's very vulnerable right now, so you need to run Manaphy's, and you might need healing. It's just very awkward, so I personally wouldn't recommend playing Flaffy. It's not like awful, but it's not great. It's like solid C tier. And I think I'll actually look at the Lost Zone decks next because they just make sense. Actually, no, because I was talking about hit and run, I'll look at Shadow Rider here. So Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, there's the idea now that you can do hit and run with Hadouin V and also with something like the Klefki. You hit and run into the Klefki. And that idea is kind of interesting. It's not amazing in my opinion, but it's not awful. I'm just organizing these decks because they aren't organized by default, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I think this should be organized now. So with Shadow Rider, you can like hit and run. Honestly, just a weaker version of that deck, though. It's just going to up in B tier. I don't think there's much reason to play the deck. It doesn't have any power, and it struggles to hit high damage output in the early turns. I think a deck like Miraidon or a deck like Gardevoir is just a better version of the same style of deck, where you can either do bigger damage or hit and run. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend playing Shadow Rider unless you want to. It's not like completely unviable. I personally kind of like the deck, but it's not the best one right now, unfortunately. It's not the like Titan that it used to be. Next we have also sorry if there's any flickering. The Lost Zone decks, and I don't even like know what these Lost Zone decks are, to be honest. Like the categorization, as I said, this is Little Dark Fury's tier list, so it would be nice if it's a bit clearer. The graphics look really nice, but I don't know what I'm looking at. So I think this is regular Lost Box. I think this is multi-prize Lost Box, which is honestly the main way to play. Or either of these. Wait. Yeah, I think this is single prize Lost Box. And then with Radiant Greninja, it's multi-prize with Radiant Greninja. This is with V, which doesn't even play Dragonite most of the time, which is kind of strange. With like Sky Sailstone. This one here is obviously Radiant Charizard. You got Giratina and Gudra, and then Delphox. Like I don't even know what Delphox Lost Zone is. I've never played the deck. I've never seen anyone play this deck. If this is like a deck, like let me know. But I like don't know what this is. I assume it just works like Lost Box with Delphox V though. I think I might have actually seen it. No, I've seen it in Arceus. I don't think I've seen it in Lost Box. I don't know. So I don't think this deck's particularly good. It's probably not awful. It's just Lost Box, but it's like C tier. And then the other decks here. If this is the regular build, it's easily S tier. It's in my opinion wait, no. What is this? No, this is A tier. I think. This is Radiant Greninja with single prizes. I think you either want a Radiant Charizard or Pokemon V's with Sky Seal Stone. I think Lost Box is the best deck in the game with that build. I think this more generic build, I think, will struggle. I played against this deck actually very recently, and they struggled to like just fire off the Kyogre. I think Kyogre is too inconsistent in the early game, and it's too spread focused. For Manaphy, it's like super problematic, and almost everyone. It's not super problematic, but it's not great, and almost everyone plays Manaphy with ways to recover it, especially the decks you want to be hitting the bench with. So this build's like fine. These two builds are just so insane though. They're S tier. Usually there's only like one S tier deck or no S tier decks, but in my opinion, both Lost and decks. I mean, they're similar decks, so they're both going to occupy the S tier. Giratina, Blossom, strong, but I don't know if it's actually that good. I feel like the Giratinas are a bit vulnerable. They don't add too much. I'm going to put on top of B. The deck's pretty solid. It's not bad to play, but I'd say like B and up, you can certainly play. I wouldn't really recommend playing anything below that. In fact, I'm going to drop Flaffy down to D. Like, don't play Flaffy. It's just not particularly good. It's just like very vulnerable because Lost Zone's so good. So yeah, the Giratina build goes there, and then the Goodra build's pretty good. I think it's an A tier deck as well. Honestly, it's probably top of A tier. It can be super problematic for certain decks to deal with. Even like Lost Zone isn't gonna love it. It's relatively like a streamlined version of Lost Zone. I think it's a solid deck. Obviously, putting it at the top of A tier, it's very good, but it's not like it's not gonna stay at the top of A tier. I don't think, but it's pretty solid. Let's see. Now we got the Gardevoir decks. Regular Gardevoir has got to be A tier. I got to put it at the top of A tier. In my opinion, it's one of the best decks in the game right now. I think everyone kind of knows it's one of the best decks in the game. There's the idea it's a little bit inconsistent. In fact, I'm going to put is the Mewtwo build better? I'll put the Mewtwo build right above it. I'm going to drop this down, actually. This regular Gardevoir to here. Gardevoir Mewtwo V-Union, I think, has just a certain amount of power behind it. Regular Gardevoir also has a lot of power behind it. They're a bit slower, but stronger. I think the single-price Gardevoir can struggle against a Lost Zone, which is problematic. But I think Mewtwo V-Union can definitely beat Lost Zone. As long as they're not playing Drapion and able to set it up. But honestly, I think Mewtwo V-Union Gardevoir is a very solid deck. You want to be watching out for it. And now they're seeing such a prominent role as an attacker. It's like very scary because it's so strong. Now we got the couple of builds of Mew VMAX. I personally don't think the double turbo build of Mew's that good. I mean, it's like top of B, but to me, like, Mew's a turbo deck. Don't play Mew if you don't want to play turbo. I have played this, but it's also, like, to be honest, I'm probably a bit biased. I obviously mostly play on the ladder. I know, like, how to, like, play it essentially optimally, but people don't. They just, like, the idea you kind of need to heal and stuff. And that's kind of weird, but it's kind of hard to do. So people just don't do it on ladder and then just lose like completely. I think if you heal, then you can be in a good spot. But the Genesects are really vulnerable in the current format. There's like a Celochunk and Gusting, and also there's a lot of spread, which is bad for them. So you can't afford to bench 3 Genesects. There's still Drapion. I personally think that the Meloetta build with double turbo is slightly better. I'll put it like here. It's like faster, and it can be very scary for certain decks. There's the idea that it's a little vulnerable, which is kind of true, but I think the ability to just hit absurd amounts of damage in the first turn of the game, it doesn't. It's unmatched in that area. You can choose to go second. I probably wouldn't. I'm not sure. But I think it's pretty good. There's also the idea that Meloetta is vulnerable to spread, but I think you don't need to be worried too much about it. It's a little worse against Lost Zone, but I think Lost Zone's beatable for Mew as long as they're not running Drapion. And now Oinkologne, I'm not sure what I think about this deck, to be honest. I used to really think it was bad, and then I thought it was good. It's probably like a B tier. I don't think it's that good. It can kind of struggle. There's fighting stuff, so you know how to play because Rhydon's so good too. So it's gonna hit for a weakness. Obviously, then you can play Dunsparce, but then your opponent's see, my thought in the meta is can you beat Lost Box? And I don't think Oinkologne beats Lost Box. It beats some things, but they're gonna one shot you with Zapdos, and if you have the Dunsparce in play, they're gonna just KO the Dunsparce. So I think it's not awful. It's a solid deck, but it's not amazing. Now, what are these Arceus decks here? I'm kind of confused. Arceus, Flying Pikachu, this one with Espeon. This deck's fine. This deck's pretty good. Arceus Giratina, very good. Arceus Alolan Vulpix. I like don't really know anything about this deck. I've never like seen anyone play this, to be honest. And this is like similar to this deck too. Like, what's the difference between Arceus, Flying Pikachu, Espeon, and Arceus? Alolan Vulpix. Aren't they just Arceus box? I'm not really sure. And then oh boy, my voice is going. And then Arceus, Goodra. Arceus Goodra isn't like very good. I wouldn't. It's okay. It's like no, it's nothing. It's like I'll put in B tier. Is it B tier? I don't really know. I'll put in C tier. I feel like you're better off just playing Lost Zone. Goodra, I think there's more synergies. I think Arceus Goodra just kind of whiffs and isn't amazing because you can't attack immediately when you set up. Your Goodra will just kind of die. I think Arceus Giratina is very good, though. It's able to honestly just trade super well right now. It's definitely in contention for best deck in format. I think Lost Zone is definitively better than Arceus Giratina, but it's a very good deck. Some people might say it's the best deck in format. With this ability to just hit super hard and just hit solid damage output, and it is able to deal decently with the Lost Zone decks. I think it can struggle against some other decks, but overall, I think it's just a very solid deck. If you are like not sure what to play, you want to play something easy, you can probably play this deck. You end up playing Skwovet, and Skwovet's fun. There's other builds. Like I said, I don't know the difference between these two. I guess there's like a deck that runs more like heavy counts of Alolan Vulpix, but I'm just gonna say they're both Arceus box. I'm gonna put them next to each other. In like B tier, I don't even think they're that good. They're probably somewhere around here. They're fine. Like, you can play Arceus box if you want. It's a solid deck. It's a bit of a weird deck to play though. It's kind of hard. I think the Espeon actually provides value, but it doesn't actually provide a lot of value in Arceus. I don't know why you like run an Arceus right now, because most of the stuff that does effects like isn't scary for Arceus. There's no Yveltal Amazing Rare or anything anymore. There's Giratina, but you don't need to be too worried about that V-Star power, I wouldn't say. So yeah, Arceus box is like fine though. I'll put Alolan Vulpix higher because it's fun. Dialga Magnezone. This deck's like pretty solid too, but it's kind of inconsistent. I'll put it top of B tier. It's fun. It's like weird to play. It's one of those decks that like feels rogue, even though it's actually not rogue. It's an alright deck, but I wouldn't say. Oh, I just realized like Little Dark Fury didn't put any rogue decks on this tier list, which is kind of weird. I don't know why he didn't, but he didn't, so that's fine. I guess like this is kind of a rogue deck, but and this I have no idea what this is. But yeah, Dialga Magnezone is a pretty solid deck. It kind of like hit hard. It's a good deck, but there are times it just kind of crumbles as well. It's moderately inconsistent, not that inconsistent, but it's a B tier. I think it's like the definition of top of B tiers to me. Now Inteleon Urshifu is let's see, Inteleon Urshifu. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. I don't even know why this deck got big. I'm still not sure, but it's pretty good, honestly. Maybe it got big because it was good. That sounded weird. Let's see. This is like here. I think it has some solid Pokemon, and it does the punishing of single prizes in the same way that Lost Zone does. It actually can do it to Lost Zone, so I like that. It's a bit of a weird deck, and it has bad typing, though. It's bad against Miraidon and Gardevoir. Specifically, Gardevoir I can beat Miraidon, but not necessarily. I think the deck's fine. I mean, it's strong. It's a bit hard to play as well, but that doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it's bad either. It's certainly like an A-tier deck. I think it doesn't really contend with the top of the meta, but it's close. You can certainly play this deck and be fine. Lugia Archeops with single strike. This deck's pretty meh. It's like, some people honestly say it's super good. It's not super good. I don't know why you think it's super good. It's clearly not the best deck in form. It's clearly a mediocre deck. It's like, I mean, it's like, is it top of B? Nah, I'll put it like here. Nah, should I move it down more? I think that's fine. We can actually move that up. Lugia Archeops with single strike, it's okay. The Pokemon you attack with are kind of vulnerable. There's some fun ideas you can do with it, but also there's no like colorless Lugia, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's not really out yet, but you have like some ideas to like one-shot stuff. but I don't really think you're beating decks like Lost Zone, Arceus Giratina. I think the deck kind of doesn't set up super well. You can be like, you can beat Mew. You can beat like deck like Mew. You can beat Miraidon, but that's about it as in terms of top decks. You're losing to a lot of the other top decks because your price trade just isn't that good. Your Lugia is just such a vulnerability to be honest, because it's not very good at attacking. Block Snorlax Control. I've like not played this deck. I need to play this deck, but I don't have any credits right now. So yeah, this deck's honestly not that good. I'm gonna put it C tier. I think like if your opponent plays just like lots of switch cards. Well, no, to be honest, your opponent can just like not bench bad Pokemon. And sure, you do have access to the promo Manaphy, but I don't think you can consistently get that off. I think the deck just doesn't work very well unless your opponent's bad. So, like if you lose to this deck, you're probably not playing super well. I think if two good players play against each other, this deck isn't that good. I think if two bad players play against each other, I think if you're better, if you expect that you're going to be better than your opponent, you can play this deck. So I'll probably try this deck out some, but it's not the best deck in the game. And then Palkia, like, why do you play Palkia now? It's kind of D tier. It's not like I'm probably ragging on it too much, but you know this is where the tier list is gonna end up, right? I hope you enjoyed the tier list, though. As I said, I wanted to make sure I improved it a little. I didn't want people getting confused about what's good or not. So this is what I'm pretty sure is the best deck, right? Nothing in F tier. We'll delete the F tier. But yeah, this is where the tier list is going to end up. I hope you enjoyed. You can actually check out Little Dark Fury's video. It may or may not be linked in the description. I'm not sure. But I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. See you.